Today we're going to start creating some 3D models in Autodesk Inventor. We're working on assignment 4.1 model creation. I've got a split screen between Autodesk Inventor and the PLTW LMS so that you can see what we're working on. I'm going to pull it up. The first one that we're going to make is actually this part. We're going to name the part based on the assignment name. So it'll be 4.1 model problem number 1. So I'm going to basically start a new part. I'm going to go to new standard part. I double clicked, and what I'm going to do now is begin with a new sketch. When I start a new sketch, I have to tell it which plane I want to work on. If you look at this, we're going to start with the front view right here and draw this basic shape. So I want to use the XY plane. If you remember, X is the width, Y is the height, and Z is our depth. So we're going to start by drawing. I'm going to start from this corner. We always want to start at the origin. So I'm going to push down on the wheel for the mouse, hold it down, and shift this down so that we're going to draw in our first quadrant. So I'm going to start with a line. I'm going to start at the origin. I get the point turns green, and you can see the little icon shows a point going on top of another red point. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to go straight up. Notice the red vertical symbol. The dimension is 0.536 as I've drawn it right now. It should be 1.5. As you can see over here, it's 1.5. So I'm going to make sure I'm straight up and down vertical, make it 1.5, and then I'm going to hit the enter button on my computer. I'm going to use the wheel to zoom out. Now I'm going to move my mouse and I'm going to move it to the right. This dimension I know is 1. And I know it's 1 because if you look over here, the entire width is 4. The top part is 2, and this right side is 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 left me 1 for that. Now I have to go vertical a distance of 1. So I'm going to put it vertical. Notice the perpendicular symbol. So my new line segment is perpendicular to the previous line. So I'm going to make that be 1 and hit enter. I'm going to zoom out, press down on the wheel for the mouse, and now I'm going to go horizontal. That distance is 2. I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm going to go straight down vertical. I'm going to get to the point where it pops over and shows me I'm lined up correctly over there. It's a vertical line. I've got a 90-degree angle, and now I'm going to make this one, I'm going to leave it a little bit off. It's showing 0.957. I'm going to make it 1 in a minute by using the equal constraints. So, or I can go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit escape to get off of there. I'm going to use my equal constraint so that this and this are equal. I'll do the same thing right here. Those two should also be equal. And it already knew that because that this was the right distance because of the line that it had right here. I'm going to go back to line, and I'm going to get on the end point and come straight down to the bottom. And then I'm going to move to the left, and even though that shows I had it at 0.50, it actually goes out more decimals. You always want to enter the dimensions. So I'm going to say 0.5 here, and then I'm going to go up another 0.5. Now I'm going to come over, and I'm not going to enter that dimension on purpose because I'm going to show you how we can use this. So I just went click, coming down, I'm going to click, and then I'm coming across. Now, I want to again use the equal constraints. This leg should be the same as this, and I can do that using my equal constraint. This and this should be equal, and it already knew that because of the way that I drew the part. Notice that all of our lines are blue. Blue is a good thing, we're hornets, and so we want, that means it's fully locked down. We are ready now to finish our sketch. If you want to click that, you can, or you can come over to 3D model, and we want to extrude. Now notice that it zooms, I'm zooming out and moving it where I can see. What is the distance we want to, the depth we want to extrude? Over here it's at 2.5. So I'm going to change that distance to 2.5, and we could actually go forward. We could extrude it back. We could extrude it to where we have half and half in front or back, or we could do asymmetric. I'll just leave it, the default is to make it go forward. And I'm going to say, okay, if you get a extrusion and it looks more like this, that's usually an open loop. So you should look for the little red cross, help, help symbol, and it'll point to where your open loop is. It should extrude solid. So we'll say, okay. The next thing that we've got to do, we have to add on this little portion right here. And that portion I can see is going to be a rectangle on this right side, 1.5 wide by a 1/4 of an inch tall. And so to do that, I'm going to start a sketch that's on the right side. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click there, and there is my part. I'm going to zoom out, and then again, I'm going to press down on the wheel for the mouse, and I can move it around. Whenever we are working on a side of a portion, side of a part, we frequently, almost always, will want to project geometry. If you'll click on the icon for project geometry and then click this rectangle, move your mouse away, you'll see that you actually have yellow lines. We use those yellow lines to hook onto or to dimension. You never want to, if you can avoid it, draw on top of those lines. So we're going to just take and draw a rectangle, and it doesn't really matter where. I'm just going to click and draw it. I can see I need to fill in the width. We said that width was 1.5. Actually, it's a depth since it's going front to back. And now I'm going to hit the tab button, and it takes me to that dimension for the height. That should be 0.25, and I'm going to now hit enter. What that has done for me is allow me to um, get my rectangle. I'm going to hit the escape button so that I get off of that, and I could actually take it and I could drag it around so it's not locked down. It's not locked down. I want to lock it down because it has to be in the correct location. I can see that from the extension line from the left side of the rectangle to the front of the cube is 1/2 inch. So I'm going to dimension from this line, and then I'm going to click this line, and I'm going to pull it down. That should be 1/2 inch. From the top of the rectangle to the top yellow line is 0.75. So I'm going to click here and click there, and I'm going to drag it. I always try to put my number, the dimension amount, the measurement in between the arrows, and pull it off of the part. So I click, and that was 0.75. And that actually has located, notice it turned from black to blue. We like hornet blue. Um, I'm going to hit escape so that I get off of dimension. Now I can actually pull this dimension down. I want to line up those arrows, and this I'm going to pull off of the part. I want you to get in the habit of not dimensioning on top of your part. When I finish my sketch now, I am ready to, and I'm going to zoom out slightly, I am ready to actually extrude. So I'm going to extrude, and I have to select what. I'm going to extrude right here, and the distance I want to extrude it. Now, alrighty, so I'm going to go extrude that. And and it's going to be 0.75. You can enter that here, or you could enter it up here, and I'm going to say check. I'm going to save my part, file. I want to save as, and you should be able to down arrow here and go to your 9131 number, H drive, and then your IED folder, and then it should go into ISOs. I'm putting mine in ISOs right here, and the name of the file will be 4.1 model number 1. And you can use the number pound sign if you want to. It's not necessary, and I'm going to say save.